Hello everyone. I just wanted to make a video real quick about the theory behind non-metallic metal. Now there's a lot of videos out there on YouTube that show you how to do a very specific non-metallic metal effect, but very few that really cover the theory of applying those painting effects on any model. I want to make a video that helps you paint any model, not just a specific one in the video that the guy or gal is painting at the time. It's a complicated theory, but once you get it, your NMM will look so much better. I also don't really like the term NMM, non-metallic metal, because I feel like really what we're trying to do with the miniature is just paint reflections that are accurate and they look legitimate. Because you're bringing the scene reflections your whole life. From the minute you're born till now, you've seen a lot of reflective things in life. And when you don't do it just right on a miniature, your brain knows that it's not right because it's seen a reflection so many times. I'm going to use this Primaris Captain that I'm showing you now to sort of show you what I did on him, how I handled the metallic polished reflective surfaces, some tricks with just household items or things that you can buy very easily at any craft store, and how you use those to kind of replicate how the surfaces of the model look with the reflection. And later on, I'll be doing more videos about non-metallic metal and how to paint it, how I paint it. I've already done one. It just kind of shows like a lightly reflective sort of brush steel look, how I applied it. But I'll be doing more with probably some Space Marines and other models where they have gold trim, just like this guy around his shield on his shoulder pads, his chest, and halo decorations and everything that are metallic. I'll be doing it in theory with a wet palette, showing you how I blend my paint and how I mix it and how I apply it. And I'll go through all that in another video. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to my channel. It costs nothing, and you will get every video I put out without having to dig for it. Please like it if you can, that helps me. And then in the comments, if there's anything on this guy that you would like me to explain to you that I'm displaying right now, just put that in the comment section, or anything else really that you would like me to cover. It helps me to make videos and stuff that you really want to see, and not things that maybe have already been covered so many times on YouTube you don't really need to bother with them. So with that said, let's get into this video and let me show you how I handle this stuff.
Alright, so this is what I wanted to explain is you can use some pretty common household items or things you can pick up pretty easily at a store, at a craft store. At my local craft store, I bought this piece of very reflective paper. Right? It's like a mirror. You can see everything in the reflection of it. So one thing you can do with this is you can bend this paper, right? So I'm just going to bend it in half here. See how the reflection changes as I bend it? So I can bend it this way. I can bend it this way. And you can see my camera in the reflection on this. You can see me in the reflection on this. But you can see as I bend it, how it stretches that reflection in it. So if we go back to the captain here, you can see that his legs are basically just tubes, right? And by bending this paper, I can put it to the shape of his leg. Right? The back is just a curved round surface. So even his gauntlet there, you can see it's just kind of a curved surface. His elbow pad, his arms, they're all just tubes, curved surfaces. So to recreate what that looks like, this piece of paper, I can just bend it. And I can see, but we all got a desk light that we used to paint with. At the top of this tube, you can see how that light, my light source, gets really thin the smaller I make this. And it's at the top. And at the bottom, you've got the ground. And it will reflect the ground at the bottom. You can see that. And at the top, your light source. So by just using a piece of paper like this, you can bend it in one way or another, and you'll see that it will change the light source, the reflection, everything around it. So by using a piece of reflective paper like this, and again, I think this piece of paper is $2 at the craft store, you can manipulate it to match what you're trying to paint in a non-metallic metal reflective surface. And I know what you're thinking, yeah, but you can't bend that into a ball, right? This guy's got these shoulder pads and they look just like a ball. And those little cooling vents on his power pack on the back, those are just like spheres, they're orbs. His toes are the shape of an orb. So it got me thinking, what do I have laying around the house? It's a reflective orb. So I dug into my Christmas ornaments. And you can use these Christmas ornaments to basically show you exactly how you need to paint your reflections. Now, my camera angle is pointed straight down, so I'm not catching that light source the way you would want to if you're looking at it straight on. But from where I'm sitting, when I look at this ball, it shows my lamp in the upper left-hand corner, just like your light source would be, or from the right-hand corner, the upper point. I could see the ground reflected in it down here at the bottom. The sky is up here on the top. In fact, these two blue squares right here are monitors that are actually in front of this ball. So it's reflecting it back because it's looking straight down on it. But from my angle, I can just see a little bit of that. But what you get from it is a true reflection of everything around it, just like a non-metallic metal orb should look anywhere on the model. Another thing is I found these that were not shiny, right? So for a duller metal, you could take a Christmas ornament that's got this frosted effect. And when I'm looking at this, I can see on the top my light source, and then down here at the bottom, I can see secondary reflection of the ground. And then I could see a secondary reflection over here of that monitor that's actually right over there, and another secondary reflection of that monitor over there. But you can see by looking at this, just posing it under your light source, it tells you exactly how to paint this shape. And this applies to any orb. The only time that you have to change what this looks like is this surface is convex, meaning it's round to the outside. It's bulged. It's a ball. But sometimes on a miniature, you'll have a spot where it's convex, which means it's actually scooped out, like on a plague marine, how they have those big divots in their armor where it's like a pustule busted, and now there's just like a concave dip. So the trick to concave in reflective surfaces is your surrounding is just flipped upside down. It's the light is coming in and reflecting off the bottom towards your eye, and the top of the convex surface is pointed down, so it's reflecting the ground, which is the darker color. So you can look at this and just in your mind think, I need to do the exact opposite of what I'm seeing. I need to take everything that's on top and just put it on the bottom, and take everything from the bottom and put it on the top. And that's a concave surface that's dipped in. But it's this exactly, it's just flipped upside down, the reflections you'll get from it. And also, I found some other colors, of course. I found a red Christmas ornament. So any metallic red surface that is reflective you can mimic with just a colored Christmas ornament. If I was painting a blood angel or something like that, and I wanted to make his armor super reflected, or a tech marine or something, I could just use this ball and hold it up with my light source on it, and I could tell exactly how it would look based on just looking at this. And I could just try to reproduce this where the darks are, where the lights are, where my light source is. But notice that everything in this is reflected in a value of red, which is exactly how this guy's armor is painted in values of green to make him look reflective. This is opaque paint. It's not a wash over a metallic paint, or an ink over metallic, or a contrast paint over metallic. This is literally all opaque paint. It's just layers of colors of green applied in the right way to make it look like it's reflective. Another trick to reflective surfaces is, and I actually have a frosted red bulb, so it's not as reflective, but I can still look at this and see where my light source needs to be on my figure, like his knee pad in there. You can see the one behind the shield. His knee pad is is an orb. So by using these really common things, like this piece of paper I got at a craft store, and these ornaments, I can do most of the shapes that you'll find on a miniature. So the trick is to look at these surfaces, figure out which way they're pointing. Are they pointed? Are they facing up, or are they facing down? And then applying the right colors to them based on the shapes that you have here. Of course, anything that's facing up is going to have a brighter look to it, and everything that's facing down is going to have a duller look to it. And there's several ways of achieving that. You can picture in your head a environment, right? Which normally would be, let's say, outside is the easiest thing to think of. An environment outside will have a horizon line through the middle of it. And above it will be the sky, so it'll have, it'll be brighter at the top. It'll be a light source up here, the sun, and then below this horizon line, which is usually jet black if you're looking at it, or very dark, like a dark purple. And below it will be the ground, which will be greens or browns or earth tones and things like that. So when you do your reflections on a silvery, highly polished metallic surface, like let's say chrome, which is like a mirror, right? That's what it's going to reflect. In the middle of it, there's going to be a horizon line. Below it is going to be an earth tone, depending on the surroundings, grass, dirt, whatever. The sky is going to typically be a blue color, and you can scale everything off that. But on something like NMM gold or green, like this in this case, the colors are kind of crushed. They're not. They're going to be in the color of the metal. So here you can see in his belt buckle right here that I made it chrome. So it actually has sky, and then there's a line in the middle of it. You can see a line right here. And then below that is gray, so it's reflecting the ground. But for a non-metallic metal like this gold here, right, you just have to sort of mimic that there's a sky, there's a light source at the horizon around there, and then there's the ground reflected in there. And true reflections aren't always what looks best at the scale. So sometimes you have to sort of do what sells at this scale. And one trick of that is if you look closely at the shield, let's say right here, on this facing the front of the shield here, my light source is dead in the middle. Right? So I can end it with dark on this plane. But then on the side of the shield, over here, this plane, you want to switch your highlight points. So if it's in the middle of this side, when I go to another plane, I want the contrast to be right there at that sharp point. I want the highest contrast possible. So here I want to go to the darkest point, and I want my lightest points to where they're the darkest points on this plane. And by doing that, you can really sell, even though it's not realistic, it really looks good at this scale. It makes it look metallic. I did it here on a shoulder pad. If you look at the shoulder pad, on the top of it, I got my highest zenithal light up here at the very tip. But then if I turn this over, you'll see on the side of this piece, my highest zenithals are at the farthest points, and my darkest point is where the shine is on the top. By doing that, you really sell this metallic look. So anywhere you have more than one plane, like the front of this this halo here, you can see on the front, my zenith of the light is right in the middle here, but when I tip him up, from the top plane of this, the zenithal point is dead in the middle here on the top. And by doing that, you kind of give it this metallic sort of look because the planes change where the light source and the shadow is in it. It's here on this knee pad too. If you look here, I made the light at the very top, the zenith point, right here. But then if you look at the front of his knee pad, right, that's the darker point on it. Sorry about this light. But you get the idea. You want to switch planes. So if I'm looking at this cube, for example, here, if I made my highlight on this cube right here, my zenith light here on the front of this, when I turn this cube up, I would want my darkest point to be here in the center and my lights on the outside edges here and here at the lightest points. So another thing I want to show you is that if you want to do really reflective non-metallic metals like chromes, like I did on his belt, or super highly polished, it's best to think about your horizon and what's the scenario for this model, or what habitat is it in, what's around it, because you want to reflect all those things to keep it looking realistic. So one thing you can do with our props here, I've got this box for the Elite set. So there's a picture on the front of this box, obviously, of Necron and a Space Marine. And if I take this ball and I hold it up by this box, right, you can see the box in there. See that box? You can almost read it because it's so reflective. I can almost read the words. It says Warhammer on it, right? And this is the box I'm looking at right here. Yeah, we've all seen this. So by using this ball and holding it up under my light source with this back scenario, this horizon event here on the box, I can also kind of play out, well, I know what that's going to look like. And with the paper too, I can hold the paper up to the box and bend it, right? Do this trick, and I'll see how the light source changes on it, and I'll see what I need to reflect in it. To start with, when you're doing non-metallic metal, it's best to just say, my horizon picture is always going to look like this. It's always going to be sky, it's going to be ground, it's going to be black in the middle, and then just keep trying to reproduce that till you get like really good at reproducing that picture. But eventually you can go to a website that has pictures on it and look for a picture of an outdoor scene. You could look for a picture of a dungeon. You can look for a picture of a huge castle on a stormy night, and anything you want. And you can use that as your horizon. You can just look at the colors are there and think, that's how I'm going to reproduce all my reflections in my non-metallic metal surfaces. So I guess the point is, there's sometimes you really want to follow that true reflective look, and there's other times where you want it to be a little softer because the metal is not as polished as chrome, so you wouldn't see every single reflection. And based on these materials you can get from craft stores, or the difference between these ornaments, you can reproduce the basic look of any curved or round shape on any miniature. So this could be really helpful as a tool to look at when you're trying to do your non-metallic metal and you're not just struggling trying to think of where should the light go and how should it look and what's around it. You can just look at these and say, okay, I got it, and I want to apply, you know, my sort of remembered horizon picture to overlay on it with the colors and kind of where they should be, top and bottom. Or if it's convex, it would be inverted. So the top would be at the bottom and the bottom color would be at the top. There are other ways to use reflective theories to make things look reflective or shiny. So I have a Land Raider here I painted, and I did some freehand on it of a skull. And that skull, I just kept highlighting it up until I got almost a wet, sort of reflective look to it. You can see in any place where the light would catch and pull on it to be reflective, I went pretty high with my highlight to make it really stand out. And then on top of it, I put in a lot of smooth shadows to represent darkness and to really make it pop out there. Some more skulls on this side that I did freehand. And you can see how they have sort of this wet sort of look to them to make them really stand out. So here's a situation where this is just like, it's basically like a possessed tank, right? That's just like a demonic spirit. You know, these things are all demonically, chaos stuff's all has a demon engine, you know, demon possessing it. So I thought it'd be kind of cool to make these guys just sort of showing themselves, the demons on the tank. But I was able to kind of get that reflective look by just going up to a glint, a bright spot, really hot spot on them. They do sort of look metallic. Okay guys, that's kind of it for my reflective theory thing. Please give me a like if you like the video. If you like it a lot, please subscribe. Tell your friends, share this video, and in the comments below, enter any kind of ideas of videos that you would like to see, that you would like me to go over anything I'm showing you in these videos, or any ideas about things that you've seen videos but they just don't quite click, like you don't quite get what's going on, what the guy's doing in the video or gal. You know, if you have any questions about techniques, just let me know if you're struggling with those, and I can try to do a video that maybe explains it a little better, a little easier to understand. And I will see you in the next one.